Good morning, everyone. Up here where I'm at in the Kansas City area, it was a cold morning this morning, so we're moving into winter. Glad you're joining us. While we're waiting for other folks to get logged in, I want to go through just some of the GoToWebinar specifics for you. If you're the first time joining us, attendees are in the listen-only mode. You're automatically muted, so you don't have to worry about that. You can change your audio functionality back and forth between a telephone or computer. If you're having some internet issues, you can go back and forth between those two. And that's in your control panel. As you can see on the screen there, those navigation buttons are there for you. We want this to be very interactive. In fact, we have some great presenters this morning. And so we want to hear your questions for the panelists. So in your chat box for questions, please be sure and add those as we go through the presentation. We're going to give each of them about 8 to 10 minutes to kind of tell their story and how they've been handling 2020 as a small business and their outlook for 2021. So as you're hearing that information, if you have questions, type them into that question box and we'll moderate those questions as we go through. If for some reason we're not able to answer all of your questions, or maybe if you have a comment or something after the webinar today, there's my email address. Feel free to email me and I'll get you some assistance or help for it, whatever you're asking for. So Gayla, take it away. Let's get started with our.
So good morning, everyone. Glad to have you all here. Yes, as Keith said, we are excited to have such valuable experts that actually work out there in the field, and they're the ones that we support on a daily basis, and they support us. So we're just so grateful to have actually 3 different Main Street communities with us today. And we're going to start out with Clinton. So Mary Cupp and Cheryl Craig opened the White Flower Gift Shop, Quilt Shop in 2016 on historic Downtown Square in Clinton. They both had been quilters for some time, and by pooling their efforts, they were able to turn their passion into a business. They were recognized as the Business of the Year in 2018. They also, as I know, because you know we follow our Main Street communities, they created the Quilt Walk event, and very successful. So we're really excited to have them to talk first. And then, as Keith also said, we have actually 3 more presenters after we hear from Clinton. So Cheryl and Mary, welcome. You all take it away.
Okay, I'm Cheryl.
I'm Mary.
And we, as you mentioned, we've been open 4 years. We just celebrated our 4th anniversary. And we'd opened at around Thanksgiving of 2016. So when this hit, we weren't really too much into our business, you know, a couple of years. And January of 2019 was a low for us because winter months seemed to be a low in the quilting industry, and I didn't really realize that until we started business. But you know, I guess everybody buys things in the fall and through December, and then they sit down and sew in January. So, and then with the weather, you know, they weren't out much. So in January, we were really planning what we could do to get customers into our shop. So we had all kinds of things planned.
We had a retreat planned, we had a quilt walk planned, and it was supposed to be even bigger and better, you know.
Lots of classes and some new groups, blocks of the month, things that would really get them in the shop.
Right. And we changed it from a 1-day event to a 2-day event because our
quilt walk, yeah.
Everybody wanted people to come to town and spend some time. So that was one way we did that.
So we were pretty excited about spring and what we had to offer our customers. And then things happened. And so, you know, pretty soon we realized that we would have to really kind of be very careful about who we had in the shop, the number of people we had in the shop. And, you know, all the stores around us were closing down. That we had, you know, across the city, not just us and Missouri, but the Midwest and the nation. And so we really tried. We had an online presence, and we were happy with that. We wanted to build it, but it was one of those things that it became a necessity. And even as we were realizing it, we were getting a lot more orders online.
Right. And we did a lot of curbside service. We did fill the orders here in the shop. We did a lot of classes online, that kind of thing.
Right. Anything that we could do to build our customer base and the relationship with our customers. That's one of the things that we feel we're strong at, and that we have had a number of compliments about is the relationship that we have with our customers. In our industry, comeback customers are key. You know, you want them to come back. You want to fulfill what they want. And so even though we had our front doors locked, we had a back door, and Mary and I were, and it's to our studio. We were back here sewing. We were back here filling orders, and we might have 1 or 2 customers come in at a time, do some shopping, and they were out the door. We also, one of the things that happened that we were really surprised at, one day we had a call and a conference call with the CEO of our local hospital and one of the physicians, and they needed emergency gear right away.
Right. They needed masks to start out with.
Mm-hmm.
And we called all of our volunteers, you know, all of our customers, and said, the hospital needs masks, let's do this. And we had a contest and to see how many masks we could get in here in 24 hours, you know, and I don't remember, do you?
No, we put a chalkboard sign on the back door, and my granddaughter came in. She was 14 at the time, and of course she wasn't in school, and she came in and helped us sew. And Mary drew out patterns. We had people who were using their stash at home and welcoming it. As a matter of fact, we had several customers said, are you kidding? This is what we've been preparing for. This stash I have at home, this is what I'm going to use. But we couldn't get elastic, and quilt shops don't usually have elastic. So Mary sourced elastic, and
but it took a long time for it to come. So I had heard that you could use t-shirts. So I went to the local t-shirt printing company across the square, and she gave me a bunch of t-shirts, and we started cutting strips. You know, people were tying their mask on with these t-shirt strips.
Mm-hmm.
Then the hospital called again, and they needed gowns for the, you know, their PPO. They were running out. So within, I'd say 4 hours, we designed a gown, sent it to the hospital. They looked at it. Well, they sent us a pattern first, and there was no way.
First of all, they thought it was a pattern. It was specs, which means all it was centimeters. And that doesn't work for a sewer.
So then we designed a gown. And by that evening, we had, I think, about 20 gowns kits sent out to sewers. And we had 20 gowns back the next day.
Wow.
And
Just to the rescue.
It was amazing. And we figured it takes about 3.5 to 4 hours to make a gown. And we had some ladies who kind of went together and in their home and, you know, did an assembly line, but we had others who just said, can you cut me a pattern? I've got fabric. And it took 3.5 to 4 yards of fabric to make something like that. And so that was one of the big things that happened, and our hospital continued to need and still does masks. And at this point, we've probably made what, 8,000?
Oh my God! Wow.
And that's not just us.
We had the local housing authority that covers 10 counties, and they called and they needed masks for all their residents and their staff. So we got that done.
And we got masks for all the long-term care facilities in our county and just whatever we could do. But it was the customers who became the volunteers that really helped to fuel that and keep it going. And when my granddaughter would come in, she would count and update the chalkboard sign and take a picture and put it on Facebook. And when we quit doing that, but we kept providing masks, and we still have several ladies that's all they do and that's all they sew. And a couple of times a week they come in with a couple of Walmart sacks full of masks.
Okay.
And it goes on to the hospital.
Where's the camera at?
That's fabulous. Yeah. I do want to take just a quick minute, Cheryl and Mary, to let folks know that your camera is frozen. I think some of the folks out there either see the frozen or the black screen, but we hear you just fine and appreciate your story. What are you guys doing kind of looking at 2021? What are your thoughts?
Well, one of the things that we learned was that online presence was really important, and trying to keep up a relationship with our customers. So we did more Facebook Lives. We had a block of the month that was supposed to start in the spring. We turned it into, we sold the whole kit at one time, and it was kind of fresh and fun. And boy, you know, if any time we needed something with fresh and bright, that caught on. And so we sold those. And then every Wednesday afternoon, we had a sew along, and I made the block and talked through, and we just talked about what was going on in our lives. And Mary monitored the camera and the phone and said, oh, so-and-so's on now. And you know, it at first it was kind of a chore because we were not very familiar with the technology. And then it just got to be something that we looked forward to, and our customers look forward to. And we created a private Facebook group for those people who were on that sew along, and that was kind of fun too. So we're going to be doing some more things like that, and just to keep people interested.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, ladies.
Yeah, we didn't know. Go ahead, Cheryl.
I was just going to say, you know, Quilt Walk was our big event, and we had it planned for the end of April. And so we postponed it to the first week of October.
Thinking this would all be gone.
And now we have postponed it again, and now it's rescheduled for the last weekend of April. So we are hopeful, but we're cautious. And so, you know, the world is pretty uncertain at this point.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. But you guys are so inspirational as well. Just, you know, it is what our main streets are all about, is helping everybody out. And it was just a great story that you all shared. But one thing, not to be criticism here at all, I don't mean it this way, but for you all to be so savvy in social media and doing a video, you know, we hear so many times some of our merchants like, oh yeah, that's for the younger people, I'm not going to do that. You guys are very creative. I mean, you guys did it. You guys rocked it. And I'm just so impressed that you guys were able to pull those things off when others are saying, oh, you know, I'm not going to be doing that. So good job, you guys. This is great.
And we already had a question, or actually it was a question. It's more of a statement. Oh, I think we lost the ladies. Hopefully we'll get them back. Yep.
All right.
That someone commented that they didn't know that we'd be wiping away tears as the quilters come to the rescue of the local hospital. Yep.
That is great. That is great. But again, it's what we're all about on Main Street, which is just wonderful. Great story.
It's about community. Yep.
That's right. That's exactly right. So it looks like we've had others join us, or they did. We're not having a great technical day here with all of our audio.
Yes.
We've been joking with our staff we do a text thread every time we do this webinar in case we have issues. We have a ghost in our office called Victor, and Victor is present this morning. So
yes,
the ladies are back.
He keeps us on our toes, you know. All right, so Lori, you ready?
I'm here. I'm ready.
All right, so I'm going to give you guys just a little bit of an overview about Lori. So Lori has her shop in Cape Girardeau, Annie Lori's, and the Indie House, and also Everett Property Management. So Lori is definitely invested into Old Town Cape. I've met Lori on several occasions and also had tours that she's given up for us. So we're just really excited to have her part of our panel this morning. And I'm sure that you're going to bring all kinds of creative ways that you have managed through COVID. And we would love to hear also about the holiday season and how it's going in Cape Girardeau. So Lori, Everett, take it away.
Okay, so thank you for having me. I'll try to condense what has happened this year into 10 minutes, but it's a lot. As you all know, COVID has affected everyone. And as soon as we started learning about what was happening, we had to close our doors physically and step up our online presence. So we've always had a really strong social media through Facebook and Instagram. But with our businesses being a little unique, we don't have 10 of 10 items. We have 1 of 1 item because most of what we sell is vintage. So having that online presence and like a shop, it was a little tricky for us. But what I did is I just went old school, and I'm fortunate enough to live over Annie Laurie's on the 2nd floor. I set up a shelf out back. I started posting things, offering curbside pickup, and people started responding. So a lot of people were home. They were wanting to do different things at home since they're seeing those spaces all the time. They wanted to change the curtains. They wanted a new chair. You know, they wanted different types of things, and they weren't able to get a lot of those things online because of shipping and everything that was happening with that. So I worked more in the month that we were physically closed than I have in years, because it was really a one-man show. All my employees were home safe, and I was running up and down stairs from my apartment when something sold and processing things on Venmo, PayPal, through the credit card machine, taking things outside, trying to accommodate time slots when people were coming, hauling out pieces of furniture by myself. Anything I could do to kind of keep us afloat and keep things going, I did. So customer service was at 110% for the month or so that we were physically closed. It was hard. It was rough. It was really challenging. I probably worked about 12 hours a day, most days, 7 days a week, just to keep things going. And then as soon as we opened our doors back up, customers just showed up. You know, they were excited to be out. We have a big space. My shop is huge, so people were able to really social distance and spread out. We offered masks, and we have had record months ever since we have opened back up since the beginning. So it's been a challenge, but one of the things that we're definitely doing different moving forward is anytime you go through one of these challenges or you have adversity, you see it as an opportunity. So for us, most of our web stuff and our social media and everything we do in-house, but we've hired, we've outsourced, and we're going to really boost up our presence as far as shopping online and having like a vault of special items that will only be featured for sale, and people can purchase those immediately on the website. So that's something we hope to unveil January, February, depending on how quickly it moves, but we've been working on that. So if this happens again, I won't be working 12 hours a day, and we'll have a better plan established, because this was something that we would have never expected, and we just adapted, we overcame, and hopefully moving forward, it will be a little easier if for some reason we have to shut down again.
What about the, what are you thinking about for 2021?
So for 2021, it's so different because we usually have a lot of events planned throughout the year. We do First Friday art walks. We do special shopping things, and we haven't been able to do any of that this year. And people are really wanting that. And so our plan is to really up those special types of events that we have, and then really offer more on our website where people can make those purchases online, because I think you have all seen that more people are purchasing things online. So we have to keep up with that. Obviously, we're not Amazon, but we do offer a product and we do offer services through My Floral, which has been very busy as well. So we're just really going to up our online presence to kind of keep up with what the curve is right now.
Okay. Great. All right. Thank you, Lori.
Wonderful, Lori. Yay.
It's been a whirlwind. It's really hard to kind of condense everything we've done in 10 minutes, but I will tell you, we have been working our tails off, more so than we've been in business since 2006. And I have worked harder this year than I have in years. And it's good. It gets the wheels going, and, you know, it gets your creative juices going and ways to do things differently. And we just really had to adapt and just do things on a different level than what we were used to doing.
Right.
I'm glad
And
we are back open. I'm glad to have the employees back. It's really good to have that support back.
Yeah, given a challenge, you may turn it into an opportunity. And, you know, that's what we talk about here all the time, even within our office is, you know, I mean, we can all just curl up and this is what's happened to us and we won't make it. And so you just, you know, went on through and persevered, like all of you all, your all's great stories. And this is what we need. We need to have our community, and our community is our merchants in our downtowns. And so you all are very important. So very important. You know, we come to work every day thinking about how hard it is for you all out there, and just continue to keep your doors open and provide the resources that you do to your community. And, you know, all of our merchants in our downtowns is our community. I mean, that's where we go, and that's our sense of place. And so very, very excited that you guys are, you know, the word that we don't like in our office, but it's so factual, is that you've pivoted. You know, you're surviving, and we're going to continue to survive, aren't we? We're going to get through this, and you're going to be stronger on the other side.
Yeah, the community really showed up for us in all of our businesses, and it's been wonderful.
That's great. Yeah, that's wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Lori. And as Keith said at the beginning, for those that might just be joining us, get your questions ready. These ladies are going to be happy to answer questions here at the end if you have some. So we're going to move on to Warrensburg, Missouri. Yay. Yay. So we have with us Rachel and Karen. They've been best friends for over 15 years. While starting separately in their entrepreneur journeys, the two have ended up back together with a successful boutique company called MKT Clothing Company. And so talk about pivoting. You guys definitely have in being able to keep your doors open and keep moving forward and being able to, you know, make sales, right? So I know that you guys have some great stories to share with us and examples also. And be sure to share with us also what the season is looking like towards the end of the year, coming on to Christmas. So thank you, Rachel and Karen, take it away.
Yeah, so like she said, Karen and I have known each other forever. We're definitely each other's creative outlet as a partnership. And so I own Ivory and Lace Bridal Boutique, and I've done that for the last 6 years. And Karen used to own a pie ice cream shop in our local downtown too. And so we definitely had separate journeys.
We actually, between the both of us, we've renovated / zhuzhed up 8 locations in our downtown Warrensburg.
We have a really big passion for our downtown, but also most importantly, our specialty is brick and mortar. And so that's why this COVID thing, we, like Gayla said, we really had to pivot, because that's where our specialty lies. That's what we have the most experience in. And so when COVID hit, we had opened up just a little tiny boutique like on a side street for MKT Clothing Co. Karen's husband got diagnosed with ALS, and so she sold her pie and ice cream shop, and we still wanted to do something together. I'm more the back end, book work, that sort of thing, and Karen's definitely more of the people person, on the end. And so we opened up MKT Clothing Co. last October, and we were on just a little side street. And it was kind of not necessarily a hobby, but it was a smaller business. And so when COVID happened, obviously there is no way, shape, or form that I could sell wedding dresses. It's just like people can't come in, you can't sell them online.
Shipping is crazy.
Can't ship them. So I, was obviously in a panic. Karen was at home making sure that her husband stayed safe, with his illness and stuff. And so we had MKT Clothing Co. And obviously live sales have been around for a while. And one day Karen was like, I think I'm just gonna hop on and do a live
At home. I was
yeah, she's literally here, which we were trying to make our computer work, and now we had to come steal her husband's computer to get this to go. And it was just accessories. That was it. She just had earrings, and she just started talking about them. And I was at my house with my daughter, and I was watching, and our first live, I was like, oh, well, we're selling some stuff. That's kind of cool. And I was like, just taking it all down, like whatever. And then at the end of it, I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, we
did way more than what we would being open.
$600 for Karen just deciding to sit in front of her computer and just talk about accessories. And so then that just kind of snowballed into us deciding to try to do them together, where we would try on some clothes and, whatever. And since then, we have done Friday night live sales every single Friday since the very beginning of COVID. We just based off of our last 6 months of sales from 2020 to 2019, we have quadrupled our sales for our clothing boutique. And during COVID, we also started offering, when we did these live sales, even people were buying them in our community because obviously our community is wonderful and they were supporting us. But we didn't, and we were trying to be safe, we were trying to social distance, but started looking at them like, we have to ship all these packages. And we're not really doing anything.
We're savvy.
We like to save money where we can. Yeah. So all through COVID, and this is a practice we still are doing today, but we'd load up my 2-year-old in the back, grab her some chicken nuggets, and then we'd spend the next 3 hours as a team making deliveries to every house in town.
You're faster than Amazon.
Yes, and faster than Amazon, and it saved us a lot of money, and we weren't doing anything anyway besides working on stuff for our businesses. So we would brainstorm. My daughter, she was totally happy. She likes looking at everything and seeing everybody's copies. And that's something that we still offer today is door delivery. We don't really know of any other boutiques even around us that still offer that. Karen and I are now too busy to handle it ourselves, but we have Karen's sister actually does the door deliveries every Saturday, and it's something that our customers have definitely.
And we're helping her, our employees have grown actually through COVID, and we're getting other people jobs. We were able to do the deliveries, but now we're not able to. And because of
our staff is probably doubled the amount we have on the payroll.
We're able to afford to hire these people to do these things for us. So
the other thing during COVID was that, so we had our little business. Well, then these live sales started getting a lot more popular, and we really, we were very fortunate in our other businesses to have great locations. Well, this one was in our downtown. It was beautiful on the inside. However, it was on like a little side street, and a lot of people didn't really know we were there. So a building came up for rent in May. So still very much during, the slow time during the shutdown. And we just decided to kind of take a leap of faith and, like the live sales may not do it forever. We want to, take advantage of this shutdown while we can. So
we renovated
a whole other space, and we moved, and like the day the ban lifted was like our first day open, and the new location has gone just insane. It's been really great, and it's been also so wonderful to have something to kind of make it through when bridal was kind of down. And so now bridal's back up. You know, the clothing shop's doing great. We're in the holiday season, so I couldn't be happier. And I know that you wanted us to speak on 2020. The main thing is that we have no plans on not doing lives. We will be continuing to do lives every single Friday night for eternity. For as long as people keep spending the amount of money they want to keep spending, we'll keep doing lives. I feel bad. My husband has to stay, both of our husbands, you know, mine has to stay home with my kid every Friday night. I can't ever plan anything, but that's just being an entrepreneur. That's just owning a business and having to make sacrifices. So, but it's fun. We have Karen's twin sister. She helps us model, and it's just,
Our people, even that don't shop all the time, they just say that they like
to watch our lives. Like, it's not
entertaining.
And so I've tried to do my part in educating myself on the lives, because it wasn't something that we were really doing. And since then, we have joined the Boutique Hub, which any people who own clothing shops out there, it's a great resource to do. And we've learned about different ways to improve our lives. And
we're really investing in our business because we were blessed through COVID. So this is giving us the opportunity to grow our business even more. So we've got comments sold. We've done all sorts of things just to set us up for success for 2021. We also go and speak at UCM, which is a college here in our town.
It's my alma mater. I went to the fashion department here at UCM, and so that's always a cool outlet to get to share. It also helps just bring awareness to our store. We wouldn't necessarily say we're geared towards college girls. We're more geared towards our age, middle age, you know, women.
We just like to encourage young people because we're fairly young to be business owners, and we've been doing that for a while now. So we like to go speak to them and just give them a little bit of hope, being young and just, you know, empowering other women, young women, to do the same.
Yeah.
Great. Oh, that's an awesome story. Thank you, ladies. Technology finally made it through for us. They were having issues this morning, so it all worked out.
Pretty tech. I am. I'm like, this is like, I should be able to get this going. I don't know. We had to switch computers. It's all good. We're here.
Yeah.
And we're glad about that. So I have a question for you all. So through COVID, because of COVID, what is some new things that you all implemented because of COVID? Just like Rachel and Karen, you guys were talking about your Friday night live. So, and you're going to continue that. So others, what is it that because of COVID that you started that you're going to continue after we're mask free and everybody can come back walking through your doors? What are you guys going to continue? What have you learned that's been successful?
Definitely the door deliveries will still continue to do even way past COVID. People love that. They like that we're, they're still supporting local, but also getting goods delivered right to their door, which in this day and age, that's how people shop. So we are happy to do that. We also implemented free shipping on all of our orders. So even if you're not within that radius of free delivery, we will always do free shipping. It just really gets more people shopping.
Yes, yeah.
Mary and Sharon, what about you ladies?
Well, I think we're going to just continue our classes online and our live events that we've been doing in our shop. And we had a box opening the other day. You know, how exciting is that? But we had a lady that came through from Wisconsin the other day. She says, I just love your box openings. All we did was open a box and pull out fabric, but they liked it. So they want to see what the new event is the next time. So,
and I think the other thing that we've learned is you don't have to be professional. You know, we're just real. And so, if we open it up and it's not very exciting, that's just what it is, So, a lot of our boxes, we get shipping notices ahead of time. And so we kind of know what's in there, but sometimes, you know, we're ordering things 6, 8, 10 months ahead. When that box comes, we're not sure exactly what's in the box.
It's a surprise for you too.
Yeah, so it is a surprise.
It's Christmas here all the time.
That's great. Lori, before we go to you, I'm going to remind everybody, there's on your control panel, there's a questions area. Feel free to type in those questions. We've got a couple coming through now, but we want to hear what you guys are thinking and what you want to know from these 3 small business owners. So Lori, what about you?
We're just going to continue to stay flexible and adapt to whatever the changes are. And who knows what next year will bring, but, you know, just accommodating each individual customer with what their needs are. If they need curbside pickup, if they need something delivered, if they need it shipped, you know, we will just be extremely flexible and just kind of roll with it.
Roll with it. That's right. So Lori, with your business, you know, you got to keep putting inventory back in. And I mean, it's not like you can go out like you normally did to keep your inventory. So how are you doing that?
Well, we do a lot of consignment. So for us, the inventory has continued to roll in. A lot of people have been at home, so they've been going through their items at home and they want to redo things and get rid of this or move this around. So I've had a lot of calls from people that are wanting to consign items at Annie Laurie's. And then as far as my other businesses at Mother Earth, a lot of people are home. We sell a lot of plants there. People are really into like wellness at home. So our plant sales have skyrocketed. And then my floral business has also really boomed because people can't connect. Like over Thanksgiving, I delivered a lot of flowers because people wanted to show that they still care but couldn't be there with their loved ones. So my floral business will probably be even busier, I think, in the year to come than it has been.
And Lori, tell them how to find your businesses.
So you can look us up on annielauries.net, but I will tell you our Facebook and our Instagram pages are really popular and a lot of people will access us that way. So I will say on a little side note too, for my other business, our Airbnb has been extremely busy because we've noticed a lot of people not wanting to stay at hotels as much. So since it's a smaller individual space, we have also been booking our Airbnb a lot. I was already busy, but it's even more busy than it was before. So
I was going to ask you how the overnight rental was going for you.
It's almost always booked. Maybe a few days through the week, not so much, but it's even more busy now through COVID because I think people just feel like it's less germs, you know, it's an individual space, and we really do heavy duty cleaning after each guest.
Right.
That's great. Awesome.
So Mary and Cheryl, how do they find your business?
Our website is info@whiteflowerquiltshop.com. We're on Facebook, we're Instagram. We've tried to do it all, so.
You guys are great.
Yeah,
If you want to come quilt, yeah.
got your website on there. You do a free pattern. You've got shopping online. You've got a great website.
Thank you.
So don't you all just want to share, send Mary and Cheryl a box for them to open?
That'd be great.
We can tell if it's
We're fun with this, couldn't we? Laura, you can send them plans, you know, and they can be, hey, you guys need to shop for Cape Girardeau.
Yes, I like that.
Yeah. All right, Keith, so what questions do we got?
I was going to say, and then to Rachel and Karen, this is their website, mktclothing.com. I had it up on the screen. Very nice, great, awesome website.
It is.
I was going to say, you ladies mentioned comment sold. Tell folks how that works and what you like about it.
Well, that is a whole new ballgame for us. We actually just signed up with Comment Sold 3 weeks ago. We have been playing with it. All the big people in the game, like that's what they use.
it basically automizes your invoices for you. You stream live through comments sold. You don't have to keep, like, I was literally writing down every single order, making sure I could see everybody's comments, and it's very exhausting. But also we were there, I mean, every Friday night we're at our shop till 2 a.m. packing orders, sending invoices, doing all of that. And so since we had scaled so much, we decided to try comment sold.
It's a monthly fee.
It's a monthly
for anyone who
fee.
doesn't know.
We're still getting the kinks out of it because it's definitely just different than how we were used to doing things. But the main thing is that it automatically sends invoices. I don't have to send a single invoice, and it also automatically tracks who commented first, even though last week I had a few issues with that with some people who didn't think that it was correct. But it also will stream through all the platforms, which is great. Like I said, we're still trying to get the kinks out, and it's more so to scale the customers that you have than to get new customers, because they have to go in, they have to create a comment sold account. But it gets people to pay quicker, and that is really essential in our business, because if people don't buy that item, there's other people that want it. And so we were having to hold things for like days on end because they were good customers, and we were like, well, we think they might want it. They told us they wanted it, and then they changed their minds and never let us know, which in their minds, I'm sure they didn't think it was that big of a deal. But you guys as business owners know that if you have something sitting on the shelf for 5 days,
And then if
you
they
can
don't,
sold that 3 times over.
then maybe we only have one, and then it ends up having to go on our sale rack because.
Right. And
that person's
so
gonna come
comment sold, it sends them cart reminders, and then it's not even an option. Say, hey, your cart expires in 12 hours. If you don't buy it, this is automatically going to the next person. We don't have to do that ourselves. It just automatically does.
Does it also process payment, or do you do that on your side?
No,
it's an extra thing, like.
we had to set up like we put PayPal and Zezzle and all that stuff through there for it. But no, they check out and they get little bleeps on Facebook Messenger. It's really great when it's going good.
But this will be our 4th sale this week with
the
and they say it takes,
there's a learning curve.
yeah, it takes a
Sure.
bit. But also, I feel like, if you're not like, I don't know, if you're not like worried, or if you're not like in it, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
We just are very, very customer service focused, hyper, probably to like not a healthy amount. And so if anybody even has the littlest blurb, we like
Freak out.
I can second that.
But you're not
We
growing
had
if you're
similar
not
issues
comfortable, you're not growing.
Rachel
is what
and
I'm
Karen.
saying.
Yeah.
So
Lori, what do
we
you
just-
use?
I just want to add to what Rachel and Karen said, that can be an issue. Like I've said, we get one of one item, and people would comment on our Facebook or comment on our Instagram or send Messenger. So we just had to just say, you have to call the store, which is a monster in itself. But so it was like fair for everyone, because, people would get really upset, and I'm like, I'm really sorry. It's like first come, first serve. We don't answer the phone until 10 on the 2nd, because sometimes we will have people calling, someone's on call waiting. But I just try to keep it fair for everyone. It's like, you just it's not sold until you have called and paid for it. So that way, because people get kind of crazy.
Yeah.
and then you
They want that item.
sold.
Yeah.
So I can understand where you guys are coming from with that. It's a
Yeah.
challenge.
Mary and Cheryl, how do you guys do your online ordering?
Well, we have a great website, and it is from Rain Retail, and it is, we put literally almost every bit of inventory that we have on that website. And that's a chore. And Mary and I kind of have complementary skills, and we've kind of developed that over the 4 years that, I do a lot, put the inventory in, and then
I find a place for it.
that's what in the store. And so then when every morning we would check our online orders, and they have been so wonderful, because within just a day they had it set up so curbside pickup was an option. It was paid for, but curbside pickup. And then all a customer did was call us and say, hey, I'm outside. And so that worked out great. They have great statistics for us, and So that's been good to know. I think you just have to find something that's going to work for you. You know, they give us great support. We're interested in comment sold too, because there are several quilt shops that are using that. And so we just have been a little reluctant because of how fast it goes, I guess, you know, but
There's a lot more on the back end of it too. However, they give somebody to you to help. I mean, we're emailing our like assistant or whatever all the time, but it is crazy how much time it saves when you do it. I mean, yeah, it's saving me at least 2.5 hours every Friday night. So
ladies, I'll connect you guys behind the scenes, and you guys can help each other out with that.
Yeah.
And they're right up the road.
That's right.
Yeah,
Cheryl and Mary, I have a question that kind of came in. For you guys, how do you encourage other business owners, maybe that aren't using technology the way they should? What would you say to them? How has it helped you, and how have you embraced it?
Well, we have one shop on the square that when this started, they were still handwriting their orders and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we've talked to them about, and they've now changed and gone to a system, but just encourage them that this would help them a lot in their inventory and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
we also used our local Main Street program and they used a couple of business owners that were pretty tech savvy to have an evening seminar to help people. And I'll tell you, we're still experimenting, I guess you'd call it, with Instagram, because we're not as familiar with that. But it's something that we want to really push for next year as well. And I think, you know, it just kind of depends on your mindset. And if you're willing to put the time in, then I think you can reap great rewards.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the rewards for going computerized?
well, it does all of our inventory. I mean, it takes care of our inventory.
Right.
We know, most of the time we know exactly what's in the shop. And
Right.
we know what we sold last year without trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
And if we run out of something, we have to decide if we're going to reorder it. I can look back and say, oh gosh, we sold, you know, 7 bolts of that in the last 12 months or something like that. And so, and then we have other things that we can't reorder, so we can kind of look at trends to see what's popular. So I just think there's a lot to be said for that part, but you have to put some time in it. In the end, it can save you time on the back end, but you know, that learning curve is still there.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Rachel and Karen, a question about you expanded your space, moved into a new spot. I would imagine you took advantage of stores being closed to make that move, and if so, is that true? And then were there any opportunities of funding, things that helped you renovate your new space?
Yeah, so it worked out in our favor, but the guy who actually is our landlord right now, he had every intention of opening a business in the place we moved into. He did all of the hard work. He restored the floors, he restored the tin ceiling. It was beautiful. Well, he works at the university and
got furloughed.
So it just wasn't in the cards for him to open his business, and so he decided, like on a Wednesday, that he was going to rent it out. The flower shop next door, we're friends with. He told her, literally, we got a phone call within the hour. We met him the next day. Said, yep, we want it. It's beautiful. It's everything we could want. And so, we think it worked out well for him. I mean, he has a steady stream of income from our rent. We're really good tenants, in my opinion.
Honestly, at that time, we were still like kind of struggling.
Right.
So we were putting in our own money to like revamp that store. So we just put our faith in that location and
that it would
that would
also paid
work.
out.
Yeah.
We also, there is a facade grant here in Warrensburg, in conjunction, our director of Main Street's on the board for the facade grant, and it's actually with the city. And so that paid for, and it used to be that they would match $1,000, and then during COVID, they actually did, it was just $1,000 free money. You had to do the whole application, and it had to improve your store appearance. And so that's how we got the new signage for our store on the front of our building. And so that paid for our new sign and to have it installed, which at the other location, we just never could afford to do a sign, which was part of the problem too. And so that was really great and extremely helpful for that too.
Great, thank you. And will you be continuing your Friday night lives throughout 2021?
Oh yeah. People want to keep spending that money on those, we'll keep doing it.
Until it's not a thing anymore.
Until our sales stop, we will keep doing it.
Yep. Lori, how do you do your online sales? Do you do some video, or do you just feature products on Facebook? How do you manage selling those one type items, the vintage items you're talking about?
So we tried a lot of different methods, but the thing that worked for us the best is for people to call the store to pay for the item. Just because there was a lot of competition there sometimes for the want of particular items, and we just wanted it to be fair for everyone. But one of the things that we're doing moving forward is we have invested a lot in this new website, which will also have the e-commerce, which I will pull kind of the best out of the estates that I work at. So it'll be like a vault, the vaulted items, and it'll just be very specialty type things that are super cool or unusual or highly sought after that will be put on the site, and people can purchase those directly from the site. So that's the plan moving forward.
Okay, great. Well, we'll give folks just another minute or two if they have questions. I'm going to advance the slide and do a quick commercial, and then Gayla will end us up here. Quick commercial for our webinar in January. It's going to be on January 6th in the new year 2021. I think we're all hoping big and exciting things happen in 2021 that aren't related to a pandemic. But we have a gentleman from the Federal Reserve who's going to give us the outlook on Main Street economy in 2021. So we hope you'll join us for that. I don't show any other questions. Gayla, do you have any other questions you'd like to ask?
No, I don't have questions. I just want to say congratulations, you all. You guys are doing a great job. We're blessed to have you guys as merchants in our main streets. Just keep up the great work. You're an inspiration for all those others that are looking at, you know, that vacant space in the downtown. Go for it, right? If we can do it through COVID-19, we can do it anytime. So congratulations. We wish you guys just a wonderful holiday season and a refreshed new year is what we're really hoping for. So again, we hope to see you guys January the 6th as we look at what the economy is for 2021. We hope you guys join us as we talk about what we foresee, what small business is going to do in 2021, like we know, right? But there's specialists out there that for sure can tell us what it's going to look like, hopefully. So you guys, again, keep up the great work. Thank you so much.
Lori, Cheryl, Mary, Rachel, Karen, thank you all very much. Have a happy holiday, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.